ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can't think of a more reasonable person to have on the air with me tonight than Biff Zeppe, SHR media darling that he is. You can hear him on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at shrmedia.com. BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon. You can also find him on Twitter at bzepp. It's a tremendous honor and pleasure to have this great man who has served this nation well on and off the tar. None other than Biff Zeppe. Good evening, sir. Great job. I love the glasses. I love the glasses. There we go. There we go. That's the joy. That's the joy right there. I love the glasses.
Media darling.
I'm getting
Let's
you ready.
see. Okay.
Getting you ready for your contract negotiations.
Media darling and reasonable. Okay. Two terms that are, in fact, with me, mutually exclusive. Yes?
Yes, indeed. You are live from California, IA, with a capital K. And in a land where people can sing in the choir without actually voicing anything or breathing, I got to ask you, from what you're seeing from outside of the window of California IA, and you look at the District of Columbia, and you look at Chicago, and you look at Portland, what are you thinking about the mayors of those particular cities?
Ken, these are dark times.
Yeah.
There is not going to be any avoiding this. Period. End of statement. Folks, if you think that you're going to be able to mitigate any of this, you're absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. If anybody thinks that we're getting back to where we were, I don't know, 2 years ago, you're absolutely wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. This is a time that we're simply going to have to get through, so to speak. Let me give you a couple. I have some wonderful examples, and
Yes.
The two examples that I'm thinking of come from the West Coast, of course.
Mm-hmm.
In a stellar move today, well, we know that it's been nothing but 73 straight days of riots in Portland, Oregon. Folks, you may as well get used to the fact that Portland, Oregon is going to be unlivable for the next 2 or 3 years. Minimum, the next 2 or 3 years. Seattle, you better get used to the fact that Seattle is going to be unlivable for the next 2 or 3 years. Chicago, you may as well get used to the fact that Chicago is going to be unlivable in the next 2 or 3 years. Minneapolis, you may as well get used to the fact that Minneapolis is going to be unlivable in the next 2 or 3 years. Here are some perfect examples. And whereas I simply cited individual cities, and there are more. New York, if you're in New York and think that things are going to be just fine in the next couple of months, number one, Mayor William Wilhelm, or Warren Wilhelm, he's not going anywhere. You're going to have to vote him out. Well, guess what? You assholes voted him in. You want him, you got him, you loved him, you hugged him, he's there. So get used to it or get out. It's that simple. Minneapolis, get used to it or get out. Portland, get used to it or get out. Seattle, get used to it or get out. Seattle, just by a 7-1 vote today, decided that they're going to defund the police. They decided that they're going to remove the police. They decided that they're going to cut budgets, that they're going to attrit and remove. Let's see, I think Seattle's about 800 officers. 750 to 800 from my best last recollection.
Yeah.
They've got $400 million. $3 million is going to get cut. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I see they have about 1,400 officers. They're going to lose, right off the top, about 200 officers. The budgets and the salaries of the officers are going to get minimized and cut as well. What's happening in California is going to be happening what's going to be happening in California, which has already happened in Colorado, which is going to spread all throughout all the seed, coming soon to a place near you. I discovered that there are many well, number one, Seattle, that's typical of what's going to be occurring, which is why I say all of these cities, you better be finding plan B.
Yeah.
Because plan A, I can guarantee you, if you're a normal human being, and these other fuckers that are in there, they're not normal, they're just rioters.
Mm-hmm.
You better find a plan B, and very, very soon. Because you're not going to like living in these leftist regimes, and these are going to be leftist regimes.
Now,
I just discovered... Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ken.
Sorry. A lot of people are saying, well, Donald Trump can send the troops in. That will solve the problem. Can you enlighten us as to why that is not the problem solution?
Well, number one, let's go back to Portland.
Yeah.
Do you recall not long ago, I think even 2 weeks ago, Mayor Wheeler in Portland was saying something similar to, it's all about Donald Trump. It's all about the feds. It's all about their not wanting to let rioters destroy the federal courthouse. It's all Trump's fault. So when there aren't federal troops defending the courthouse, then they moved their anger and angst onto Portland, and they had their 73rd day of rioting in Portland. Guess what, Miller? It's not Donald Trump. It's the rioters. So you're simply going to have to live with it.
Yeah.
Donald Trump attempted to protect... All this is FPS, Federal Protectives, and see, that's the other thing. People are woefully stupid about the police in the United States. I'll wager that probably 80% of the people in the U.S. couldn't tell you the difference between a police officer and a sheriff's deputy, which is a critical and significant difference, or the difference in levels between state, local, and federal law enforcement. Federal law enforcement, the FPS, Federal Protective Service, was created to do nothing but, in good days, they're nothing but door shakers for federal property. That's all they were designed to be caretakers of federal property. But when you attack federal property, don't the feds have a right to protect their own property?
Well, yeah.
And U.S. Marshals, the reason the U.S. Marshals came in is because U.S. Marshals are tasked with security of the courts. It's a courthouse. I was a marshal. That was one of my duties. Hello? So they don't want federal property to be destroyed. Trump is of two minds, I think. I think in his own way he really wants to send the feds in to be the savior, because I think he kind of wants to be the savior.
Yeah.
Note to Trump, don't let them fail. They're going to fail of their own accord anyway. Quite frankly, I'm concerned for you. You're not in, as far as I know, you're not in downtown D.C., but you're kind of in the environs.
Yeah.
I would no more want to be in D.C. than the man in the moon. Yeah. Because all that stuff that I just mentioned, you're already seeing. It's already there. It's already with you and around you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming I didn't see, but I'm just assuming. Right. For the past 15 minutes or more, you've probably been talking about Metro cops, Metro DC.
Exactly. You have a police chief who's standing next to his mayor, who's saying, I can't enforce the law. And he's saying, I don't have enough cops to enforce the law. So you have individuals, 65-year-old women who are living in some of the poorest neighborhoods, looking out their door at 3 a.m, having been kept up all night long with boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden they're shooting and people running towards the door and people running over cars. They are scared to death. And it's because they voted for what they got. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. In Seattle, in Portland, we're going to have to come to the conclusion that you get what you deserve. If you keep voting for this, you get what you deserve. Now, we've been studiously attempting to avoid one very significant word in this. And I said I was going to talk about California in a moment, and I will. I'll get to that. But there's one very important word that we have studiously avoided up to this time, and that's consequences. Leftist, Democrats, etc., don't believe in consequences. Well, the consequences that are here, that are coming, are only going to get worse. They're not going to get better. So business owners, especially in Chicago, businesses in Chicago, New York, Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis, New York, any city that's run by a leftist, you'd better flee, because I can guarantee you this, and this is purposeful. This was done on purpose. Law enforcement doesn't have the ability, the wherewithal, or the mindset anymore to defend you. And this was done on purpose. This is creative control. Even Carmen Best, Seattle police chief, who on her best day has the intellectual level of your average brick, even she is beginning to understand, I think maybe they don't want me in Seattle. Do you think they're going to cut my money? That's done on purpose. This is not going to get better. If Trump is reelected for a second term, and I firmly believe he will, people have said it's going to border on a squeaker for the Electoral College. Yeah, it might be kind of a squeaker on the Electoral College. I'm not convinced. I think it's going to be better. People have been talking the L word, landslide, in terms of popular vote. I'm not going to go landslide, but I will go, he's going to take the Electoral College, and he's going to win the popular vote. But I'm telling you this, Trump is one dude. He is being fought at every level. He's under pressure like no individual human being I can think of, unless you're talking about FDR and maybe General Eisenhower in America during wartime. That was intense pressure, because obviously no one knew the outcome of the war, what was going to happen. But President Trump is under the most intense scrutiny and pressure I have ever seen. And it's for a number of reasons. To be borne out shortly, but as I say, if he wins, and I believe he will, get a second term, he will not be able to change this overnight. So do not look to him to be your immediate panacea or savior. He will do what he can, but as a single individual, he needs help at every level. Even the Republicans, that Lincoln Project, and all those stupid people that ought to be Democrats, I can't tell you, Ken, right now, how hard it is for me not to spill out just a word salad of expletives right now. It's taking all of my courage not to be able to do that. But despite the fact that I believe he's going to be reelected, if you think that you can buff this out, this shit doesn't buff. And it's only going to get worse. And all of these cities, unfortunately, including yours, are going to be unlivable. I say in the next year and a half, 2 years, you're going to see a United States migration of people that you haven't seen since the Dust Bowl.
Wow.
You're going to see a migration of people from leftist enclaves into anywhere else. And that, even that in itself, is going to create a monumental set of problems for the people where those who left land. Number one, just like Texas, Texas came to California and solicited businesses to move there. But who also moved to Texas? All the leftists and their philosophies came to Texas. That's what the people that are targeted by folks in leftist cities, that's what they don't want. Californians, always spelled with a K, are invading Texas. Californians are an infestation. They're like a bad virus and need to be eradicated. But that's not going to happen. So I told you I'd get to California. Well, I have people that are in certain positions in California. And this is what's in California committees right now. This is what the California Assembly and the Senate thinks is a priority for Californians, always spell it with a K.
Yeah.
They are going to, just as Colorado did, they are going to completely remove qualified immunity for cops.
Oh my God!
Guaranteed. Oh, that's number one. Guaranteed. That's easy. That's the easiest thing to predict in the world. I just had it confirmed.
Oh!
This is what's a priority in California. Number two, removal of... I wish I had a producer on my end who could play that little thing that I play on my show that goes, dun, dun, dun! Next priority is no militarized uniforms in law enforcement, no BDUs, no camo, no helmets, no gloves, no knee protectors, anything that remotely looks like a militarized cop, gone. That's a priority in California. Always spell it with a K. The removal of anything less than lethal in California, always spell it with a K. We call it less than lethal force in riots. Now, what would that be? Every bit of gas munitions, every bit of pepper ball, every bit of 40 millimeter, anything other than the physical presence of cops and shields. Now, think about this, folks. This is purposeful. Why would that be? That's so that unless police have a numerical superiority, riots cannot be stopped. Let me tell you that again. The purpose of this in your city and every leftist city is so that unless police have a numerical superiority, riots cannot be stopped. Well, wait, that's not going to happen because it's defund the police. So what does that mean? That means in every, what I call leftist urban rat cage, you will not be safe for a minimum of the next 2 years. If Trump gets elected, he can't walk into your city and change that. Who clamped down on Wuhan 19? Did Trump do that? No. Your individual state governors did that. So can he, just by the snap of a Trump finger, can he clear all this up? No, because he's being fought at every level by everyone. The other thing that's going to change, that's going through committee, is there will be no carotid restriction anymore. So if cops can't defend you and they can't defend themselves, because essentially cops are nothing more than a placeholder anymore. They are a line into which people spit and throw bottles and Molotov cocktails, etc. And pretty soon the cops are going to start, what I say, defunding you. Cops are not going to take this stuff. Here's the future for cops.
So let me just quickly say this. So let me just say this. You virtually, and this is impossible to believe that a state would do this by taking away qualified immunity, because if they take it from the police, they should take it from themselves. But literally... Oh, I
said, the first day back in Colorado, I said exactly that. if you take qualified immunity from law enforcement personnel, then hey, why should and see, there is the massive hypocrisy. Why should any politician enjoy something that your law enforcement do not?
You're basically turning your police into mall cops.
Well, you're turning your police into victims. You're turning your police into individuals that individually and collectively cannot defend themselves. So, as I said, let's review. You're not going to find police. Police are going to defund you. Police won't be able to keep you safe. Police won't be able to keep your business safe. Police won't be able to keep your city safe because of defunding and the removal of tools that at one point allowed them to stop rioters and protesters.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to use the word protesters. These aren't protesters. Those are protesters like I'm a hubcap. They are rioters. Pure and simple.
Criminals.
It's no more complicated than that. If cops can't keep you secure, cops can't keep themselves secure, and you can't keep yourself secure, and they're coming for your guns, think Australia 1996, if for some crazy ass reason Biden gets in, what's left? For a select few individuals, there is going to be a, I don't know, let's just say pushback, and my guess would be it won't be pretty.
Yes. See, and this is the thing. Our founding fathers didn't create a democracy. They actually created a republic.
Yes.
And so what we are actually creating here is the Molotov cocktail for civil war between those who want a republic and those who want a democracy, those who want citizenship and others who want a mob. And the precious assets of New York and California are the treasures at this point. Will there be others inside those states that can win out and make it a republic again?
Sadly, no, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I really don't think so. I think we're at a point where history, we can't learn from history, so history is about to teach us a lesson. And we've enjoyed an inordinate number of peaceful years post-World War II, and we're about to step off the chasm of our own creation. There are 8 generations, essentially eight levels of the rise and fall of civilizations. We're essentially in the fall of a civilization right now. As everybody knows, most civilizations rot from within. We're starting to rot. Now, it's not yet obviously gone. We can pull this out. Portland can be saved. Seattle can be saved. New York, D.C. can be saved. Chicago can be saved. Have you noticed there's one city I haven't mentioned? Ken?
What city is that?
Detroit.
Really?
Why don't you see chaos in Detroit? Chaos was the definition of Detroit for decades.
Exactly.
Because they have a police chief who said, and this is immaterial, but I'm pointing it out because so many other people pointed out, he's black. And he said, I'm not putting up with this crap. And people are going to get arrested. Oh, because here's, I forgot the other very highly important aspect of the decline of these cities that I just illustrated. You have law enforcement, you have the administration of law enforcement, and you also have the prosecution of law enforcement. What happened to all the district attorneys in the past 10 years? Oh, that's right, they've been infiltrated by Soros. So even cops may do the right thing and you may get arrests, that's no guarantee that, number one, they're going to keep them, because, number two, you've seen many arrests. Just kicked, just thrown out.
Yeah.
The second thing is you've seen people arrested for crimes other than rioting, and especially in Chicago, gun crimes. They're not prosecuted. Gun crimes in Chicago are not prosecuted, folks. Detroit is different. Now, how long can Detroit hang out before they're staved in by leftists? I don't know. I really don't know. John F. Kennedy had a very interesting quote. John F. Kennedy, these days, I'm not sure he'd even make a very good Republican. He sure as shit wouldn't be a Democrat.
Exactly.
Kennedy said, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Only this time, I'm guaranteeing you, the violence..." Americans are, by and large, a very peaceful and very tolerant set of individuals. The revolution, the 1776 and the Revolutionary War, was fought by, in a big umbrella perspective, a shockingly few number of people were able to pull that off. It will be a shockingly few number of people who decide that when their backs are up against the wall, bad things are going to happen. I'm just telling you, folks. I'm telling you right now. Been telling you this for years. Ken, I've told you this before.
Yep.
Folks, get food, get water, get guns, get ammunition, get protection, get a water source, get a water bob, have a plan A, plan B, plan C. Get wise food storage. Because if you think that the United States is chaotic now, you have no inkling of what's coming. Americans are very, very tolerant. I refer to my John F. Kennedy quote. It's about to get much, much worse. Yeah. And a guy, Michael Fitzpatrick, asked me, he's my cybersecurity expert on the show. He said, "Hey, you think there's going to be a lot of violence and stuff if Biden wins?" Guaranteed. If Biden wins, this is not going to stop. If Trump wins, it's only going to get worse. Mm-hmm. Geometrically worse. Much worse. So, folks, you want to live in all these urban rat cages? You go right ahead. If you think that you're getting any relief, you're not, until you come to your senses and vote these cocksuckers out. It's as simple as that. If you want them, you love them, you embrace them, then shut the hell up.
You
loved it, you embraced it, you wanted it, you got it, and now I don't like them anymore. I didn't see that they were left. Shut up.
I went to the bar last night and went home with a woman at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got herpes. What are you complaining about? You took the risk. You took the risk.
I didn't see that coming.
Listen, you did a great show. You did a great show last week about UFOs, and I got to have you come back 1 week, and I just want to strictly talk with you about unidentified flying objects, and why.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
If you go outside, folks, and start looking up, I guarantee it, you are not going to believe what you see. Now, it takes patience. It takes patience. You are not going to believe what you will see up there. Guaranteed.
There you go. I'm going to have you come back. We're going to talk about it next week. And it is...
I'm ready and steady, Eddie.
It is vital that we have that conversation, because the Trump administration has opened up a great window into all the things that have happened over the years. Some stories, some facts, some truths. And so we'll get into that conversation. I just want to thank you, Biff, for all these years that you've been honest with the American people. You didn't sugarcoat it. You told them that we were coming down the pathway, that there were little obstacles that we could possibly turn away from, and maybe, but we're there. It's kind of like 1860. You've been talking about it. You were hoping that it wouldn't happen, but we're there. And the election will turn everything over. And I just want to thank you, Biff, because you've just been a consummate angel of truth to the American people. How can people watch your program? How can people listen to you and indulge themselves in the fanciful, felicitous joy of watching your beautiful program?
The angel of truth said, tomorrow night, I will have Jeff Dunitz on the show.
Ooh!
And then Thursday night, it will be a rollicking show for 2 hours of nothing but kicking and rollicking and kicking, rollicking and rollicking kicking. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
UC's Berserk Bobcat Saloon every Tuesday and Thursday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Watch, listen, and chat at shrmedia.com. Streaming on Facebook. I won't be on Facebook because my ass is kicked off Facebook.
I know
but
that
I figured
feeling.
a workaround for the show. And also, you can watch me stream live on YouTube as well. Thanks, Ken McClinton. Always be there. Always watch Ken every damn night. Listen to Ken. All you people, listen to Ken. Listen to Ken. Would you listen to Ken?
I love you, man. I love you. Biff Zeppe, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back with more fascinating truths in America. Nothing more than the best at urban conservative news talk and programming. What a great guy. Biff Zeppe is a wonderful man, and you need to listen to his program. You really do. We'll be right back with more of the best right after this.
Safety is always job number one at the range, and these bright yellow chamber flags by TAPCO ensure that everyone knows that your firearm is unloaded and safe when you uncase, during storage, transportation, or training. The Chamber Safety Tool by TAPCO Weapons Accessories is offered in different configurations to fit into the chamber of semi-auto pistols, rifles, or shotguns to keep the action open and safe. The bright yellow color stands out so the RSO or fellow shooters can glance and see the condition of your firearm. The durable, flexible polymer composite won't mar your gun's finish. The end of the TAPCO tool can also be used as a non-marring pin punch to push out takedown or pivot pins on AR-15 platform rifles or trigger assembly pins on other guns. And the handy flat edge of the flag head can be used on scope windage and elevation knobs instead of a screwdriver or coin. Brownell stocks separate pistol, rifle, and shotgun packs, and we sell one multi-pack that contains all three. Like all products sold by Brownell,